From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the latest news update. Lawyers and advocacy organizations are encouraging members of the LGBTQ plus community to act quickly to protect the rights that are still in place after President Donald Trump signed an executive order declaring the United States government will officially recognize only two sexes, male and female, that are not changeable. While the future of the other LGBTQ plus rights under the new administration remains uncertain, the decision is part of his broader plan to end federal efforts to, quote, socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life, Trump said in his inaugural address. However, many LGBTQ plus rights advocacy groups are already taking a stand against the executive order, and some national organizations such as Lambda Legal have said they are preparing to challenge Trump's decision in court. The incoming administration seeks to limit protections against sex discrimination and abuse, denying science while also making life immeasurably harder for intersex, non-binary, and of course, transgender people, according to Kevin Jennings, CEO of Lambda Legal, in a statement shared via email. The nonprofit advocates for the civil rights of LGBTQ plus people. The president's actions will reverse initiatives established under the Biden administration that aim to safeguard the rights of LGBTQ plus individuals, particularly those who are transgender or non-binary. The executive order prohibits the promotion of gender ideology by requiring federal agencies to treat biological men and women as distinct sexes. The document also mandates every agency and all federal employees acting on behalf of their agency to recognize only male and female on official identification forms. Sex describes the biological sex a person was assigned at birth based on characteristics of maleness or femaleness as indicated by chromosomes, gonads, hormones, and genitals. Gender identity is a person's inner sense of being, a boy or man or male versus a girl, woman, or female, another gender, or no gender at all, according to definitions used by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Division of Adolescent and School Health. The American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and the American Psychiatric Association have acknowledged that sex assigned to a person at birth may not always align with an individual's gender identity, but the executive order aims to erase the legitimacy of transgender or non-binary individuals whose gender identity does not match their biological sex. Under the new administration, the U.S. Department of State will now require applicants for legal documents such as passports, visas, and global entry cards to accurately reflect their sex on official documents. Federal prisons, jails, and juvenile facilities will also be separated by sex according to the order. For many LGBTQ plus couples with children, securing parentage rights, the legally recognized relationship between a parent and child, has become one of the top concerns for those in the community under the new administration, according to lawyer Meg York, director of LGBTQ plus family law and policy and senior policy counsel at Family Equality. York explained that there are two primary legal processes to guarantee parentage rights: order of parentage and adoption. In some states, order of parentage, also known as parentage judgment or judgment of parentage, streamlines the process of confirming legal parentage for LGBTQ plus families. For certain families, this process may be as simple as mailing a petition with supporting documents to obtain a court order, York said. For families living in states without order of parentage, they can look to secure parentage rights through adoption, sometimes known as second parent or step-parent adoption. While the thought of having to adopt your children for LGBTQ plus families may be confusing or even offensive, it is the safest legal option. The big thing for people to remember is not to get hung up on the terminology, because what matters at the end of the day is that they have the court order that secures their family, York said. LGBTQ plus families may choose to adopt for a variety of reasons, such as creating legal ties between a step-parent and child, or ensuring legal relationships and protections for couples who utilized assisted reproduction to have a child. The adoption process is typically lengthier than order of parentage and usually entails submitting a petition that includes background checks and supporting documentation. Depending on the state, there may also be other steps in the process, such as home studies, which help social workers ensure the child will be living in a safe and stable environment. Both parentage judgment and adoption are recognized under the full faith and credit clause of the U.S. Constitution, which means the court orders must be honored across the United States, regardless of where a family moves. York added that even if state legislation changes down the line, the order will still be upheld and families will remain protected. Adoption laws and procedures vary by state, so it's important to explore the available options and timelines in your area. York also advises LGBTQ+ individuals, whether they are married or not, to have a will in place for legal security. Talking to an attorney and drafting a will can help determine property division, guardianship, powers of attorney, healthcare proxies, and advance directives to help protect the wishes and desires of their relationships and families. For anyone experiencing discrimination based on their gender identity, advocacy groups such as Lambda Legal or the American Civil Liberties Union can provide support. For more information about this news or any of the stories we cover, check the PEP Radio page on the Pennsylvania Equality Project website, paequality.com. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you when you're on the go. For the PEP Radio News team, I'm David Moore. Now back to more music here on PEP Radio.